Hi, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Align's Daily Dose of Advice. It's our way of bringing you valuable insights and thought leadership from business experts from around the world on various topics that hopefully will help you and your business. My name again is Eugene Turk, and I'm the VP of Business Development at Align. And my guest today is Andres Zylberberg. Andres is director at Pulsus Coach in Perth, Australia. Andres helps growth-minded leaders scale their businesses without losing their minds or killing their employees in the climb. He is a scaling up certified coach, a professional coach also certified by the International Coach Federation, and an expert in agile and lean methodologies. Andres, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure, Eugene.
Obviously, many businesses are operating in a very new reality and under new conditions, wherein many of their employees have been ordered to stay at home and work remotely. And in light of this, I was hoping that you could offer some advice and insight for companies that might be having a difficult time adjusting to this new reality with respect to their people, remote working, and more importantly, maintaining a company culture while we are all apart. So with that backdrop, what in your mind is the most important thing that companies need to focus on in order to maintain company culture now that most of us are working remotely and no longer have that physical connection in a shared workspace?
It's a good point. And I would say the number one thing is over communicate and be honest. There's not such thing as Margaret Heffernan, she was mentioning the other day, there's not such thing, especially nowadays, as over communication. You want to be honest, you want to be transparent, you want to communicate even more frequently. And not just with your employees, but also with your suppliers, with your clients, with your shareholders. Keep everyone connected. That's probably the number one thing. If you're going to measure something, measure your talking time. And don't just send them an email, but give them a call. There are so many tools now where you can do video conference even for free. Use that. There's a great article from HBR about the burnout in isolation. And it's not just about the workload that you might have, but it's also about the loneliness. So communication is key, not to feel lonely and then to feel burnout. And especially for most people, they're not used to working in this sort of social isolation. So talk to people, talk more. During the last few weeks, just to give you an example, I've been talking to CEOs who personally, they were delivering healthy snacks and in some cases some drinks to their people as a gesture to tell them, hey, we care about you. We know that you're working really hard from home. So, hey, here's a gesture of we remember, we care about you. And I thought it was brilliant. A business agility consulting company called Scalable. They did recently a happy hour over Zoom. And it was great. They invited me and I was there with a drink. You don't have to drink if you don't want to, but it's that moment, 1 hour, talking about social stuff, non-work related. That's a way of releasing the stress as well. And Scalable this week, they're doing a movie night over Netflix party. So looking forward to that.
Those are all great suggestions. What are some more specific suggestions that, obviously with virtual Zoom meetings and happy hours and movie nights, but with respect to actually getting some work done with your teams, do you have some suggestions for making virtual meetings more engaging and more interactive?
Yes, absolutely. The number one thing for engaging meetings, video on for everyone. And let me tell you what. Video on emulates the physical proximity. And we know that connections is really, really important. And by having physical proximity, we create these connections. Now, when we can have physical proximity, like nowadays, neuroscience tells us that by having visual contact with someone like you and I were having now, emulates that physical proximity, and our minds, our brains are telling us, hey, I get to know this person, I can build rapport and connection with this person. And that's why it's so important to be able to see the other person, to be able to read body language. You know, when you're in a meeting, just look for signs quickly of confusion or clarity. But it's by seeing each other where we can actually see that quickly. And definitely, video helps with human connections. Uh, if you're thinking, well, how do I do that? What are the tools out there? There are many tools, and now these tools are giving that all the features they have for free. You know, use Google Docs for engaging and collaborating at the same time. Zoom, Google Hangouts, and look, if you're in a meeting and someone is sharing a screen, and you're looking at a spreadsheet for 1 hour and doing nothing but just looking at numbers, it's really draining. So that's why I'm recommending use collaborative tools like Google Docs, Mural, Miro, tools where people can go at the same time and really collaborate so they can work during those meetings. That definitely will keep the level of engagement high and the level of energy high. Just give you a quick example. Just came to my mind. Last week I was running a quarterly planning for a group of executives, and one of the rules, you know, we were using Zoom and Google Docs, and everyone was collaborating. But the number one rule that we agreed on was wear a funny hat. And yeah, why not? Keep it fun, right?
Right.
And
Keep
we
it
brought
silly.
some laughter as well. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great idea. Um, Obviously, on the flip side, there are some companies that are having difficult conversations and having to lay off individuals during these very difficult times. Do you have any suggestion on ways to have those difficult conversations with your employees and your team members?
Yes, in these difficult times, it's absolutely critical that you're staying honest and you have direct conversations, honest and transparent conversation with your people. You might have to lay off people, but you might as well be able to help them at a personal level. Santiago Jaramillo, during the Scaling Up Summit, he mentioned something really interesting. Teams will remember how we treat humans. So something that he did, for example, he brought a personal financial planner to help everyone in the organization with their personal budget and how to budget for lean times. And he also brought in a therapist to help them with keeping a healthy mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion is why not bringing that or including people that you have to lay off or you probably laid off already. Include them in those activities because you never know. You might need to hire them in the near future. And remember, your teams will remember how you treat humans.
Great suggestions. Another thing that I think is probably critical right now is obviously executives and senior leaders can't manage all of the stresses, both personally outside of the office and professionally right now. How do you suggest that leadership leverage the insight, the intelligence, and really the good ideas that the rest of the team may have in order to help find creative solutions to the current problems that certain businesses might be experiencing right now?
That's a good question. I would say feedback is always important, especially now. We want to gather feedback more frequently. And people have concerns. They have social concerns, financial concerns, on top of the concern about the economy effect on the organization. So you want to gather feedback why frequently, and why not having a daily check-in? With my clients, I'm recommending have a daily check-in. So gather everyone in the organization, or even in small groups if the organization is too big, and tell them, how's the organization doing these days? How are they doing? Ask them how they are doing, and tell them what the leadership is doing these days. And there is a great study from a professor from a university that says people are more willing to tell the truth to a machine, to a tool, rather than to a human.
Mm.
So provide them a safe environment, a tool to provide that feedback. So Align Systems is providing for free this great tool where everyone in the organization can log in and they can have their own priorities and progress, and they also can provide feedback info. So it's a great opportunity, and there are other tools out there. Use the technology to keep them in that safe space to provide feedback. One of the great tools that you can use, ask every one of your employees, ask the leadership team, what can we start, stop, and keep doing nowadays? It's a great tool. And also, we want to communicate while keeping the good ideas coming in. So neuroscience tells us that by alternating between standing and sitting positions, the brain creates 2.5 times more new ideas.
Mm.
So if you want to create a brainstorm ideas and have something out of the box, try standing. As I'm doing now, as you are doing now, stand. And I know it can be tiring to be all day standing, so alternate standing and sitting. And hey, by standing and sitting, your heart will pump a few more times, that you might burn some more calories.
Sounds good. All right. Final question, the same question that we ask every coach that we speak to. What is the number one piece of advice that you are giving your clients right now?
Hope for the best, plan for the worst. I think this is the time, if you haven't done it yet, review your SWOT analysis with your leadership team. Discuss what are the strengths and weaknesses in your business, and identify the opportunities and threats out there that you can leverage or protect right now in the next 3 months. So this is how to do it. Gather your leadership team over Zoom, Google Hangouts, you name it, and identify what are the top 3 strengths and weaknesses in our business, what are the strengths that we can leverage and opportunities out there, and what are the weaknesses that we need to protect right now. So the number one weakness that companies and leadership teams are protecting is cash. So Alan Mills, the king of cash, is providing for free right now this tool that he created, where you can cash stress test your business. And you have to enter 6 financial numbers. You go to mycashflowstory.com, you enter 6 financial numbers, and you get a report on how your company is doing with cash. And this is a great moment, if you haven't done it yet, with your leadership team, everyone to understand, they must understand what are the 7 levers that will impact your cash flow. How 1% of that variance in those levers can impact the cash flow right now.
That's great advice. Andres, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us and sharing some of your thoughts and the advice that you are giving your coaching clients. For those of you who might want to learn more about Andres, you can learn more at Pulsus, that's Pulsus coach.com. For those of you that you would like to learn more about Align's free huddle tool or about the Scaling Up Scoreboard software, please check out aligntoday.com or scalingup.com/software. And we hope you will join us next time. Till then, thanks so much, and I hope you make it a great day.
Thank you.